We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and now, all World Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World and a Cruiserweight Champion.
I'm Ethan.
I'm James.
I'm Rob.
And this is episode 174 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. Of course, you can find me on Twitter at EthanM95. You can follow the analyst James Williams on Twitter at
JHW Reporter.
And you can follow Rob at
Rob Flores Media, and don't forget the R2 at the end for Ethan.
Yes. James, you might have
Okay,
to...
wait. Okay, wait. Has anyone actually ever sent you R2 or
besides Rob? No.
Oh, he actually sent R2. I mean, how come I never see him?
Every other day, there's always just something new.
I didn't know this.
I'm kidding. It's a rib. It's a rib. No.
It's a rib. It's a swerve, bro.
It's a swerve, bro. Speaking
All
of
right,
swerve, the Cruiserweight Championship,
for?
you might have to change that. As of next week, they are officially unifying the NXT North American Championship and the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. NXT Cruiserweight Championship is going to be no more as of next week.
I mean, I thought it was not a thing for a while now.
It's Roderick Strong. What do you mean? He's been holding it down in the Cruiserweight division.
Against who?
Against Joe Gacy. Against...
That's not a
Kushida. Well, no. But Kushida against whoever he wants. Next week, Carmelo Hayes.
Is the 205 show still a thing?
That might be coming to an end as well. I haven't heard any confirmation of that, but I would assume if the Cruiserweight titles bye-bye, that show's probably gone too.
I mean, I guess that's a good move. You put it with the NXT North American title. So is Carmelo Hayes and Roderick Strong?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And before we move on any further, I just want to acknowledge my tribal chief, the head of the table, the best of the best, the end-all be-all.
Brock Lesnar?
Roman Reigns. No, Brock Lesnar cowardly attacked Roman Reigns last week after Paul Heyman, that turncoat, was fired by the head of the table and then got hit with the Superman punch. We're not going to talk about Paul Heyman anymore. He's out.
Is he like out? Because I mean, I saw he took a beat down, but
he took a beat. He is officially fired.
Wow.
Now, with that being said, if there's a twist at day one, which is a possibility, then he's welcome back. But as of now, he is out. He's out the door. You don't need him anymore. He's not in the bloodline.
Right.
He's not we the ones. He's out there. They're the ones.
He's the one out. He's out.
He's out. Kyle O'Reilly, All Elite, Rob? Did he just show up on AEW television? You're just is this breaking news here? Hold on, let me see. Yep. Where? AEW Dynamite. Let's see. They had their holiday bash, which is happening now. Let's see.
He is officially as of 2 hours ago.
He is. You got
that was great.
The 3 formerly known members of Undisputed Era. Now I have to watch this show now.
What are your thoughts?
I'm not
excited.
It's not surprising. Am I excited? I don't know if this is still going to be enough to get me to watch AEW. I mean, good for Kyle, I guess. But, Roderick Strong, the last surviving member of the Undisputed Era, is holding it down over there with Diamond Mine, Malcolm Bivens, and, I don't know. I don't know when his contract comes up, if he's going to stick around. I know his wife, Marina Shafir, was on AEW Dark last week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay. And then for what it's worth, those were the original 3, right? I mean, because Roddy came along after the fact.
The original 3 are there. So
okay, there you go.
See what they do. Let's see what else. Speaking of AEW, Brian Cage, according to Conan likes to talk a lot, say a lot of things. He has a podcast, I believe, Keeping It 100 podcast. I think he does it with Disco Inferno, everyone's favorite wrestler.
Well,
Apparently, he said Brian Cage could be WWE bound. Cage's fiance or wife, Melissa Santos, who was on Lucha Underground, she was the announcer, has been very vocal about her displeasure of his booking in AEW. He also hasn't been seen since October.
when he was with Taz or something, no?
He
Not
lost, I
Taz.
think, in a street fight against Ricky Starks after they betrayed him. So they had that little feud going on for a while. But he hasn't been seen on TV for a little bit. So, and apparently he's gotten heat in the AEW locker room because of his wife's public vocal displeasure. So we'll see. He's a big guy, so I'm sure WWE will love to have him. But I don't know when his contract's going to be up.
And he's never been there before, right? Because I think
in WWE, I'm not sure. Maybe in some sort of developmental, but I haven't heard.
Maybe. Like, I've never seen him. I remember seeing him at the ESPYs on the red carpet, and I didn't really know who he was, but he was in Impact at the time. I just wasn't watching Impact at the time. But he was a big dude, and I'm like, who's that dude? Because he was like, I think it was like when I was talking to Victoria, and I think Victoria was in Impact or something like that. And I just remember seeing this dude, and I'm like, who's that big dude? He should be a wrestler. Come to find out,
he's huge.
He was a wrestler.
Yeah, who would have thought? But yeah, so some interesting signings, re-signings. Speaking of re-signing, it's happened. Did this happen last week? Did we talk about it already?
I know. I think it was
after, right? And I told you guys. But yes, someone who is sticking.
We talked about it. Yeah, we talked about it. We talked about the match. We didn't the contract.
That's right, but we didn't talk about that. He had to signed.
Yeah.
But it has been confirmed because I think we recorded on Tuesday and that happened like the next day or something. But it officially confirmed as of last Wednesday, I believe. Kevin Owens has officially re-signed with WWE. He is not going anywhere, according to the sources, various sources. It's a multi-year contract. He's making anywhere between like $2 or $3 million. That's what's out there. Don't know if that's true. He did a podcast revealing his main priority was his family, and he wanted to set up his family well. So he took the offer WWE was willing to give him. Apparently, AEW wasn't willing or going to be able to match that. So look at that, Kevin Owens sticking around. So
I mean, but maybe that. I mean,
Sami Zayn. I think I heard somewhere that he supposedly resigned because apparently there are rumors of long-term plans that were supposed to be set up for him. But who knows? But I would imagine if Kevin Owens is sticking around, I mean, Sami Zayn and Owens kind of go hand in hand. Probably resign.
I think it's interesting. Well, I mean, maybe we don't know, but it's just interesting that you said that they couldn't, AEW couldn't match. I mean, I don't know how many times they've had to match or be in opportunities to match, but more often than not, someone has had to be released for AEW to kind of make a move on them. They're not really looking to pick up anybody that's under contract, or maybe not under contract, but someone whose contract has expired more or less.
That's true. I mean, they could.
You know what I mean? So
anything, yeah.
So I mean, it's just kind of interesting, and then because I mean, too, if you're released from somewhere, then you're kind of in the position where if you do want to work for a big company, you got to take whatever the offer is, compared to I can make millions here or here. Which one's going to give me more, and then have the option. I'm just curious to know.
I want to know what the number is.
But I had to wait and find out to see what are they going to do with Kevin Owens. Like, I feel like they haven't done anything with him recently.
Well,
And
let's
what
talk
more
about what
can they
they've done.
do?
Let's talk about what they've been doing with him.
Mhm,
He's been in that WWE title picture recently.
mhm.
Kind of aligning himself with the drip god himself, Seth
Yeah.
freaking Rollins. I love
Mm.
it. They're like besties now.
Oh, your thoughts on Seth Rollins' outfit this week? I saw it live. He jumps over the
Stylish.
barricade with Kevin Owens, and
It was a great
they
meme,
attack.
great
they-
gif of him jumping onto Lashley. It's great.
Yeah, and the outfit just
He's such a he's fashion forward, James. You know.
would you wear that?
Oh, I would. You know,
You're lying.
I am very into fashion, very much into fashion. I think Seth Rollins has good taste. You know,
The only fashion you pay attention to is Roman Reigns' t-shirts.
well, I do need to pick up that T-shirt. We'll talk about Roman Reigns' new T-shirt in a little bit.
Yay.
But getting back to Seth, getting back to Seth, he's wearing all this plaid, and then under that shirt, he was wearing like 3 or 4 different pieces, like stitched together. It was fantastic.
It was a mess.
You know, you want to call it a mess? You could call it, being fashion forward.
No. I'm not calling it a mess. I'm telling you it was a mess. It was a mess.
It was not a mess. Not a mess.
It was a mess.
That's the attire of a future WWE champion. But
He already was the WWE champion.
Well, he was, but he'll be a champion again. So at day 1 happening January 1st in Atlanta, Georgia. Migos is going to be there. Hear about
The
that?
Migos.
The Migos.
Wow.
Yeah. Big celebrities. I'm sure they're going to acknowledge their tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
Hopefully they get powerbombed through a table.
I wouldn't be against that. Who puts him through the table? Kevin Owens, probably.
No, Roman Reigns.
He could. He could be busy, though. He got Brock on.
Yeah. You The Rock, you said?
No, he's got Brock.
Oh.
He'll deal with Brock.
Good old Brock.
Yeah.
Brock. Funny old Brock.
Did you see that photo of him going around with I don't know if it was a fan or something. He was actually like smiling and everything. Like
Brock's a great guy.
Brock, doppelganger Lesnar or something.
Brock's a great guy. They don't give him enough credit. He's funny, showing a lot of personality. I mean, he's everything you would want in a champion. He's just
not on the Roman level.
No, it's just when he's the champion, he's always in a bad mood because everyone wants something from him or expects something from him. So if I'm Brock Lesnar, I'd be a little frustrated too. Like, leave me alone.
The toxicity of Paul Heyman.
That too.
It's Paul Heyman just bringing everyone down. That's what it is.
I mean, they are winning titles though.
Or Roman and the Usos did that by themselves. So
name a time Paul Heyman wasn't with somebody where they didn't have the championship at some point.
Curtis Axel. He was Intercontinental.
He was the Intercontinental champion for whatever that was.
Ryback.
That only lasted a week, didn't it?
That was a few months, wasn't it? That was a feud with Punk.
I don't even think it was that long.
They had a feud with Punk. I remember it was Ryback and Heyman versus Punk in the Hell in the Cell match.
Maybe.
No,
he was with somebody for like a day. Paul Heyman was. Was that not Ryback? And then I think he flipped to Axel.
Cesaro.
He was Cesaro for a day?
Yeah, it didn't last that long.
Who?
The Heyman and Cesaro.
Yeah, I mean, I barely remember that. Is that what it was? And then he went with
because he betrayed
Dutch Martin. Didn't he go to Dutch after?
No, he betrayed.
Dutch Martin.
That's when he joined Heyman. He became Paul Heyman. This was after 30 when he won that Battle Royal.
I'm checking.
No, I'll tell you. I know my history, sir. Come on now. Acknowledge me. Acknowledge my history.
well.
Yeah,
okay. Cesaro and why his pairing with Paul Heyman didn't work. I guess that's who it was. Paul Heyman said pairing with Cesaro did him no favors. I don't know.
Who?
Cesaro said no. Paul Heyman said that his pairing with Cesaro did not do. Oh, I don't know who. I'm just reading the headline. I don't know who he's. I don't know if he's referring to him or himself or Cesaro. So
He didn't do Cesaro any favors and put him in the main event level like they wanted to.
yeah, I feel like there's something that happened with that or machine
Probably. It was
structures.
a blur. That was a weird time. What year was that? Like
Yeah.
2014, 2015?
It might have been the way everything's moving. Yeah, but I don't think it was that long. Apparently, it was like right after he won a Slammy or something, though. Or no, Andre the Giant. After he won the Andre the Giant Battle
I
Royal,
told
think
you.
it was.
I told you. It was the next night. He betrayed Zeb Coulter. And, he joined with Heyman at some point for probably, like you said, a week or two.
Yeah, for a hot minute. Yeah, he did betray. Yeah, you're right to some degree.
I want. And
So he was already a champion. He didn't need Paul. He didn't need Paul. He was already the Andre the Giant winner.
He wasn't a world champion though.
Yeah, but they were only together for a week.
You'd say so.
What? I'm doing a radio show.
We're live on the air. James getting interrupted. Love it.
Hi, Radio Land.
My sister's saying hi to all the wonderful listeners to the show, and my dog is doing stuff. Anyways, but yeah, so no, I think that's interesting, and we'll see how it plays out. But anyways, I think Brock and Paul Heyman shouldn't be back together anytime soon, because if they do, I think we're just gonna get grumpy old Brock again. And do we really want that?
No, we don't. I don't need to see that Brock again, honestly.
I don't, because we're enjoying what Brock Lesnar's doing right now.
I agree, except when he's attacking Roman Reigns.
As long as they don't interact, then you're okay with it.
That's fine. He can mess with Sami Zayn. That's fine.
Oh, well, yeah, but wait, did they ever do the fishing trip or whatever?
You know what? I'll be honest. I haven't seen last week's episode, so I don't know what's going on. I just know because I saw what's going on Twitter.
I missed that part. I need to go back and look at that because I was looking forward to that. I didn't see that part. But how would that have been if last week? Because Brock and we'll have to go back. We'll have to go back and watch it. Friday was very busy. But yes, how much time do we have left, Rob? Because we have NXT to get into today.
Let's talk about superstar.
Say Liv Morgan.
Say it with me, James.
Liv Morgan.
Nah, you didn't do the thing. Do it with me. Come on.
Okay. Liv Morgan.
Overrated.
No, what do you mean?
Overrated.
Did you not see the way she handled herself in that segment? We'll talk about it later.
She attacked someone in that segment.
Yes. Yeah, but it was
doppelganger.
Was it not deserved?
Stunt double Becky Lynch.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it now. So do you want to bring it up? Since I brought it up.
Time.
Now,
right.
what? Okay.
This bum.
Now, yes. Maybe it was a little. I mean, how does Becky know exactly and have a stunt double in place or whatever? I mean, she didn't do it like I don't know.
Training. She was teaching the young lady. Obviously, this happened. Let's talk about it. Let's set it up. We're in Iowa. I believe this is where Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch and their wonderful child live. Congratulations to them. Anyways, they're at the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, which is co-owned by Seth Rollins.
And who?
And Mark.
Merrick. Not by Becky. Okay.
No, she's not owned it. Well, I mean,
maybe.
Probably does now.
Okay.
But
Right.
Yeah. But her tag team partner when he started. Anyways, they run the Black and the Brave Wrestling Academy. Becky Lynch was there. She was training. We see a camera, kind of a point of view POV shot of Liv Morgan. She's the cameraman. She has a camera attached to her or something. I don't know. She just shows up. She waits on the outside of the ring, stalking her prey, who she thinks is Becky Lynch because this young lady has same color hair.
It looked like Becky Lynch.
It looked like Becky Lynch from behind. She goes in unprovoked, attacks this young woman who is just training, who is trying to learn how to wrestle by arguably the greatest female superstar of all time.
Stop it.
In
Bianca Belair is clearly the greatest.
Was arguably the greatest superstar of all time, not named Roman. She attacks her, and then when she realizes what she did wrong, we get to see Big Ten Beck show up, lays it in her, I didn't finish watching it, so I'm assuming Liv got the upper hand at some point or something. I don't know.
Actually, well, okay, so kendo stick was involved. I believe it was Liv who brought the kendo stick in. She attacks
she
this.
brought a weapon. You know, she could
She
have been
attacks
arrested.
this person who she believes is to be Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch ends up standing behind her. Liv swings the kendo stick, and apparently Becky Lynch can catch kendo sticks now. Anyways, so they exchange swings of some sort, and they both kind of have turns with the kendo stick. But actually, I believe it, if I remember correctly, it was kind of Becky Lynch who did get the upper hand. I mean, she kind of got her out of the ring. She got the last shot in, but she was still telling all these guys to get rid of Liv, even though they didn't really move. But some people were poking holes in this, saying that it was kind of obvious. Like, if you have cameras just randomly showing up to an arena, or showing up to the workout facility, but I think it's just meant to be this, like, you're a fly on the wall perspective of this happening. I don't think it's meant to be like she showed up with a cameraman. People just can't buy into it. But anyways,
it was a good segment. Becky Lynch carried it well.
Oh my goodness, you make me sick.
When we return, we're going to talk more about our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, probably more Seth Rollins. Maybe we'll talk about Festivus, all that and more right here on Beyond the Ropes. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ, HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 174 of Beyond the Ropes. I am your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and producer, Rob Flores. You can find us collectively on Twitter at RealBTR Radio and Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. We were talking about a little bit about Monday Night Raw. Let's talk a little bit more about another Raw superstar who actually showed up on NXT. Haven't seen it yet, but let's talk about the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Looks like he and the 7-foot Colossus are no more. Looks like
this was not breaking. I mean, I saw it coming. But my dad was watching it at the time, and he calls me into the room and he goes, "James, Omos just attacked AJ Styles." So he couldn't believe it. But yeah, I mean, I guess he got swerved. He really did. No, but I mean, there was a little bit of tension there, and they try to make it out like everything was okay.
Yeah.
I think the week prior with that backstage segment. But so it's kind of interesting. It just makes you wonder what we're doing here with AJ Styles, because so that happens. AJ Styles gets attacked or whatever, beat down on Monday. Then on Tuesday, he's on NXT. As far as I was concerned, unannounced, other than me getting a phone notification saying, "Hey, turn the TV on. AJ Styles is going to confront Waller or whatever on NXT."
I think Grayson Waller, I don't know if he called out AJ Styles or if AJ, they had some sort of Twitter exchange potentially.
Something. So there had to be something. AJ, I don't know if he was calling out the older NXT generation, or if it was something.
Well, AJ wasn't on NXT. He never was. Besides,
he never was on NXT. That's right.
So besides,
then what did they say? Because I think they kind of made it. I think didn't the notification say a phenomenal return? Maybe it didn't. I was reading it as it said phenomenal return, but that's right, he never was on NXT.
The only time
the Good Brothers went, but he didn't, right?
No, the only time he did appear on NXT in terms of the Survivor Series gimmick.
Okay.
But he never went as an actual competitor. He I think he wrestled maybe once there. Again, that was like 2 years ago when they did the Survivor Series thing.
So what do you, just hearing that, I mean, you haven't seen the segment, and that's fine. I'm not going to spoil
apparently
it for you,
next week, Riddle, who has also been appearing on NXT and with MSK kind of being their shaman, they're bringing in some of these main roster guys, which is interesting. I don't know if it's to help get ratings or if it's to help these younger guys become more established or something.
A little bit of a rub or something.
A little bit.
Maybe. I mean,
it seemed
You're
like
trying to elevate them. If you're trying to elevate those guys a little bit further along, yeah, maybe you know
Grayson
get
Waller
him to
obviously
do
kind of being set up as a very obnoxious heel, as we've seen, trying to get on the LA Knight level. But since LA Knight's a babyface now, kind of someone's got to take that spot. So, say it with me, James, one more time.
All right, here we go.
LA Knight. Come
You didn't think I
on.
was gonna do it, so you weren't with it.
No, come
Ready?
on.
I'm gonna lead it. Ready? Here we go. Ready? L
A
A
Knight.
Night. See,
Yes.
you didn't think I was gonna do it. You
We
didn't think
did. I was
gonna do it.
waiting for you to do it. Come on.
I was my first time. I was nervous.
There you go. We did it. We did it. You got that on camera? All right. It's a Christmas
It's on
miracle.
camera.
The Festivus
Yeah.
miracle.
That's all you're gonna get. I'm not acknowledging anybody else on this show.
Oh my god.
But no, so I mean, it's just kind of interesting. And part of me is like, are they gonna send him to NXT? Like, again, I just don't like how close they kind of did this. Like,
it kind of came out of nowhere. They promoted it like I don't know if they promoted it on Monday. They did on Tuesday that saying, he's gonna be here. I think he's supposed to have a match against Waller, but I don't think that happened.
Yeah, but it's then why would you like? For me, it was they were going back and forth, and then AJ was like, okay, was telling Waller, fight me then. Then Waller's like, he acts like he's gonna do something. And the way they had the camera angle set up, it made me think we were gonna get almost trying to like pop up or interfere or continue the beatdown, but he doesn't. So I'm just kind of like, where are we going with this? Like, why did it have to be AJ? I mean, yeah, if there's Twitter beef, whatever, but push it back a week or something. Like, sell the attack.
How bad was the attack on Monday? Did you watch it?
I mean, I kind of saw some of it. Like, I mean, he beat him down, he's standing over him, and he was like saying he's like doing things on his own now, more or less, is my understanding. But it's just kind of like, I mean, if you're I don't want to say you're pulling AJ Styles thin, but you're starting a feud over here with him and Almost on Raw.
Are we getting a feud though?
I mean, how it would have to be, because is he really ready to be on his own? Like, if you put him with AJ Styles against AJ Styles, AJ Styles can show him give him a different perspective of the work style, or how to start a feud or whatever. Because what feud has he really been in that he hasn't been in with AJ? Like, he's been with AJ the whole time. So that's what I'm saying. So the first feud would have to be with AJ. Like, who are you going to put him in there with?
It's a good question, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. It would have to be AJ. But now you have AJ. Now, was that a one-off? Apparently not on NXT, because there was no interaction. And if you're going to do all that to have him there, then that means you're going to have another match. Or you're going to have a match between Wilder and AJ, I would think. And I don't know what pay-per-view you're setting that up for. Like, I mean, when is the next event for that? Like, is that going to be on regular TV?
NXT?
Yeah.
New Year's Evil. So just a few days after day one.
After day one? Okay. Well,
I don't know. I mean, AJ might be wrestling almost at day one, or they could do it on Raw. They'd like to do these things on Raw sometimes.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's just curious where they're going with them. I mean, hey, I think it was like last week or the week before. It wasn't that long ago, or at least I've been thinking, like, what are they doing with AJ? Like, I think he did resign. Didn't he just resign recently during the Twitch thing when everyone else kind of backpedaled away from it? I thought that's when he had resigned, I think. So he's kind of still in the mix. I mean, you're giving him stuff to do, but what are you really doing? Because that's someone who should be in your title picture. And, I mean, yeah, you don't want to, I mean, you try to shuffle guys in and out and keep them out of the picture for a certain period of time, but it's kind of been a while.
Yeah. We'll see what he does, I guess. I mean, WrestleMania is around the corner, so hopefully they have something good for him.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I think too, maybe once he gets on the other end of this Almost feud, then
he's gonna be probably a babyface, right?
I mean, I think he probably would already have to be if he got attacked.
That's what I was thinking. I mean,
yeah, but I'm just thinking thing though. Well, because I'm thinking then he has to get back into the title picture. Like, in a way, you would almost have to reward AJ for being out of the title picture for so long, and then going through this tag team thing, building up almost, getting him learning, having him learn on the fly, really.
Mhm.
Like, I think you put AJ back in the title picture, but it's just
Mhm.
kind of like, how do you go about doing that? Where do you go from there? I don't know. So
Mhm.
we'll see.
We will see indeed.
But I do have numbers, and I don't even think AJ Styles did enough to barely save the show this week, to be honest. Are you ready
Really?
for numbers? You ready to talk about needle movement before you talk about your other person?
Let's talk about it.
All right. Let me get it here. All right. So we'll start with NXT, as we're talking about. AJ Styles did appear on that December. Well, actually, this number is before AJ. No, it's not. I was reading it wrong. Okay, December 22nd. No, December 21st. Today is 22nd. So NXT December 21st was 591,000. That was with AJ and some other folks. They had a street fight on there. We'll talk about that kind of stuff later.
Mhm.
That was a little bit better than last week's, I believe. Maybe, but they barely beat out Rampage, who had 571,000 for their December 17th show.
But they did it. They
It's
did
kind
it.
of big. They did what?
They beat them. They beat AEW second show.
Yeah, but they've always been.
Yeah.
But I feel like the gap is closer than it's been.
A little bit.
It's very concerning. Anyways, the Dynamite show, which was a pay-per-view themed show, apparently was just under 1 million. Well, I guess not just under, but it was 948,000 for that December 15th show. And then going back to your big shows that kind of carry all things pro wrestling, at the end of the day, it is Raw with 1.55 million on their December. Maybe down a little bit. Maybe down a little bit. But there were 2 Monday Night Football games on Monday, because you had some things get postponed with COVID and yada, yada, yada. So there were some other things people might have been watching that day. College football, there might have been a bowl game going on that day too. So you had that. And then you have that, remember, basketball is going on, hockey and stuff. And then for your December 17th show for SmackDown, it was 2.3 million. Again, that's on Fox. That's led by Ethan's needle mover there. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about Roman Reigns in a minute. But I think it is worth just mentioning again that obviously I cover UCLA football, college football. We're in bowl season right now. We had people getting together for Thanksgiving. There's a new COVID variant out there, and Christmas is coming up, obviously. Happy holidays, everybody. But with that said, also be careful. Make sure you're wearing your mask. If you have the opportunity and you're eligible, make sure you go out and get your booster shot, because the numbers and cases are starting to go up. We're starting to see some college football games getting impacted. Some NFL games are getting postponed, or players are getting positive tests and whatnot. You're seeing college basketball teams being shut down. There's a game I'm supposed to be covering for UCLA football in San Diego at the beginning of next week, and that's no guarantee that will carry on, just based on the number of cases and whatnot. Everything's good so far, but there can be some different things, and that may affect WWE and AEW, and we might go back to some empty arena shows. We might go back to, was it the Thunderdome or whatever the case was? So
let's bring it back. I'm all for it.
You sound like you want it back. Are you really? You want that? But we're kind of headed that way. So who knows? I mean, WrestleMania is not too far out. This could still very easily impact WrestleMania from then. And at this point, we might be 5 years away from WrestleMania in LA. So yeah, I mean, it's looking like it. No, but so those are just things to consider, obviously. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how things play out, but it's just something to keep in mind, especially if we start to see some. I mean, again, you have these thinning rosters here for WWE and whatnot, and what starts happening if we start seeing some of these roster guys get affected? They start affecting some pay-per-views. Heck, maybe that's why you have 4 people in your main event, in case someone does get sick. You still got 3 guys. You still have a main event, right?
Mhm.
But anyways, just some things to keep in mind going forward here as we kind of get into the rest of the holiday season and we get on the other end of it. So, yeah.
Let's talk about Roman Reigns, his
Do we
new
have to?
T-shirt, the Needle Mover shirt. He made the debut on Friday Night SmackDown in Chicago. It's fantastic. Crowd loved him, and it's a great shirt. I think it's a play off of a comment made by CM Punk. So very
so.
very ironic. Very.
So, did you order it already?
I have not yet.
Wow, I'm surprised. I thought
I'm
you would
waiting
have
for those
definitely ordered
deals.
it.
I gotta wait for the sales. That I still got a couple of
Okay.
Xmas presents I'm potentially getting. So
Oh, okay, fair enough.
potentially. So I don't know.
You know who else got a new shirt? I don't know if I mentioned on the show. I think I told you off there. Braun Breaker.
Oh, you were serious?
Yeah, I'm always serious, Ethan. I wouldn't lie about Braun Breaker.
I don't know.
He had another promo with Ciampa, and they went back and forth. And then Braun Breaker, excuse me, wearing his new shirt, shows Tommaso Ciampa, the champion, that he is more than a third of the man that Ciampa is, by lifting Ciampa over his head and just holding him there for a second, and then just letting him go, just kind of letting him know that he's there, letting him know
This
he's in
shirt?
charge and that he can do whatever he wants. Yeah, it's like he's doing
It's
a
just
little flex.
himself.
Yeah, wouldn't you get that shirt?
It's a generic shirt.
It's his first shirt. What do you expect?
Beat them at their best.
It's a
He-
very
he beaten?
Steinerish looking shirt.
He hasn't beaten anyone.
That's kind of true. Well, he won. They won the thing though.
The war
They won
games.
the
Yeah.
war games.
Yeah.
Is that the first? Well, I mean, he's won matches, right? But not. He hasn't beat Ciampa though, right?
He has not beat Ciampa.
Now, not with the title on the line, obviously, but I think we're getting close to that happening. I mean, that's going to have to happen soon, right? At this point.
No, I think Ciampa retains at New Year's Evil.
No, they need to get on with this. Gargano's gone. O'Reilly's gone.
O'Reilly is definitely gone.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts on? We'll say the Gargano stuff after, because I have more. I have something on Loomis here. But anyways, just a little bit about NXT. I know we're jumping all over the place here, but we did get another street fight. We had Dakota Kai taking another L to Raquel Gonzalez, who's still our champion there in NXT for the women's division.
Champion.
Is she not?
Mandy Rose. She's
going to be. That's right. That's right, because Mandy Rose was on there looking scandalous, and
beautiful.
She was on there scandalous. She was on the Titantron. I don't think they call it the Titantron anymore.
Stunning.
Anyways, Raquel Gonzalez is the people's champion. She gets distracted after
what people?
The people. Me, you, Rob, the people listening to the show. Doesn't matter. She is your champion. You just don't know it. Anyways, so she gets attacked by the other members of Toxic Attraction, and of course, it was very toxic of them. And anyways, so it looks like that's the direction they're going. Maybe this Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez feud is kind of coming to an end finally. I mean, you had a street fight. What comes after that? So we got a minute left. Any quick thoughts here on that, on the women's division? You want to talk about Mandy Rose a little bit?
She just looks phenomenal. Apparently, she's a locker room leader, according to Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville apparently saying,
"Isn't Sonya Deville like her friend?" And Sonya Deville's also not on that show.
No, but
those comments are empty. They don't mean anything.
She hears that she's been giving good advice to the ladies. She has a mindset of someone who's been on the main roster, experience, which is true.
She has been on the roster. I don't know about experience. She hasn't many matches, but anyways, that's enough out of you. No, I'm kidding. Maybe. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what you send her down for, but I just, she's not Bianca Belair. Let's get that clear. No, now, can we go to commercial? No.
We'll be right back right here.
No.
I'll be on the road. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 174 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and producer, Rob Flores. Let's talk about.
Let's
we'll
talk about Johnny Gargano.
Okay, he's in
What do you?
Cleveland.
What do you said what?
He's in Cleveland.
Apparently he is in Cleveland because he's going to be taking some time off. It seems like he's not going to AEW.
I don't think he is.
You think he's? I think right before we hopped on, I saw like a headline that said he kind of knew in advance, like a year in advance, that he was planning on taking time off for this upcoming year. And I mean, I guess deservedly so, because I think he was like fully involved and in the mix for kind of leading the way for NXT and doing the funny haha stuff at times throughout some of that COVID period. What are your thoughts on Johnny being gone? Do you think he comes back? Do you think this is a year off before he goes to the main roster? Or I have another thought, but go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts.
I don't think he takes the whole year off, but
he'll
probably be gone at least for the winter.
Okay, and then he comes back, so just takes a little bit of time off then, huh? Well, which makes sense because one, what's your name is Cancel Ray is having a baby, right? And then
due in 2
so
months. Less than 2 months.
So that sets up some time for them to kind of get situated and get all settled in with that. I think again, Johnny and Tommaso Ciampa are guys who are just kind of staying true to NXT and avoiding trying to get on the main roster at all costs. So I think this is maybe Gargano taking time off because it's the only way you can kind of get a refresher and be away from NXT and stay kind of fresh and still be relevant, come back, kind of ignite that fire and get fans behind you again without getting a little too stale. So give them a reason to miss Johnny a little bit and then go from there. So I think this is a good move, especially if you don't want to go on the main roster. You just kind of take a break and recharge the batteries a little bit, and then maybe kind of get back out there. Now, we'll see how long that actually is, but I think he's safe to stay. I guess maybe that's why he let the contract expire. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I guess fire him. I would try to find a way to kind of sneak in, sign a new deal there, and then re-sign and then take a break. That way you kind of sitting at home getting paid, because if the deal expired, he's not getting paid, right?
He's not. He reopened his Pro Wrestling Tees shop as well as been on Twitch, so maybe he's making some money off those places. I'm sure he might have saved some money. I know Candace is still under contract, so
okay. Well, there you go.
She's probably bringing in something. Even though
she's the breadwinner, you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know what other endeavors they have, but I would assume he probably saved up some money.
But now, isn't it? It's kind of interesting because I saw Loomis pop up on some of the highlights I caught for NXT here, and it looked like Loomis was just kind of solo. I haven't heard much of him and Indy Hartwell and what they're kind of married. I mean, obviously they're married, so there has to be some sort of situation there, unless they're not married anymore and I missed that. But that whole storyline that had featured so many of those is just so far removed now with the Gargano's not there, and it was kind of like Indy quickly along with getting married was kind of in this tag team all of a sudden that I thought came out of left field, to be honest. But yeah, so do you know anything? I mean, I know you're not fully watching it, but like, where do you think they go with Loomis? Because Loomis has got to be due for something different, I would think, soon here. I mean, I guess he kind of was doing something different with Hartwell, but I don't know. That seems to kind of
like they put her in a tag team with Berja Parada, I think her name is.
Yeah.
So they kind of separated her a bit. They do reference that she's still married to Loomis and stuff, and they do kind of appear together once in a while. But yeah, they kind of separated them for the most part.
Her Twitter still does say Mrs. Loomis and whatnot. So, okay.
So they're still canon,
Yeah.
So as far
that's
as
cool.
What they do for Loomis, I don't know. He was feuding with Tony D'Angelo at one point. I'm
Yeah,
assuming
I
that
think
ended because D'Angelo's
yeah.
got done now. So,
Mm,
but yeah, something we forgot to mention. New NXT UK Tag Team Champions last week.
who dis?
Tyler Bate and Trent Seven of British Strong
Oh.
Style, associated with Pete Dunne, also known as
Mhm.
Mustache Mountain, them as a duo. So they
Mhm.
finally captured the gold over in NXT UK, making Tyler Bate the Triple Crown champion over
For
in
UK.
NXT UK. So
Okay. And where are they at now with is Walter's not the
Walter,
champion anymore, right?
no,
Because he
it's
lost.
Ilya, yeah.
So I haven't even I forgot all about that dude. What is he
He
even?
has. I don't think he's been on TV.
Because I forget that's even a show sometimes. Because I know with the time difference and stuff, it comes on like
Mhm. It comes out at
1
noon.
p.m. our time or something.
Mhm.
So, but Walter was not that long, like a month ago, was still wrestling because he had the match with
It was with Ilya.
Cesaro, and it was kind of like a house show
Yes.
type deal. And I believe that was after he had lost the title because I remember we kind of talked about it because I remember seeing part of that match kind of on Twitter. Someone had filmed it and looked pretty good.
Mhm.
Looked like a potential match we'd want to see in the future. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see where they go with those guys. Again, we talked about the cruiserweight show, kind of where that's going to go or what's going to happen with that. The 205 live, 205 live show.
Mhm.
But we know what's going to happen with the title, so I would assume the show is going to kind of fold here a little bit after that. But again, I've
Mhm.
continued to be surprised that the UK show is still kind of bouncing around out there.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens with Walter. Apparently, he's in a relationship with Jenny, another NXT UK superstar. So,
Mhm.
interesting to see if he shows up in the States or if he just sticks around in NXT UK. So,
Yeah,
we'll
okay.
see.
I just saw Triple H was trending, so I had to check to make sure, everything was okay. And everything
Mhm.
is okay there. His name was just being brought up because of Undisputed Era being on the other show now, and maybe Triple H having a tear in his eye to see maybe one of the stables he helped kind of usher along there. Kind of a sad moment, maybe, but Rob also mentioned that Bret Hart did get into a Canadian Hall of Fame or was honored to some degree. Do you want to acknowledge Bret Hart there, Ethan?
They're just making up things now for Bret Hart to do. Just
Uh,
they want to give him like a participation award or something.
wow, imagine. Anyways, you're rude.
Wasn't it the anniversary of when Goldberg retired Hart or something?
Didn't you guys say this last week or something?
No, it was a text by Rob.
No, okay.
So
Well, anyways,
we had to acknowledge it
we
publicly.
don't acknowledge that. That was WCW. WCW Bret Hart was not canon. That was just
All right, so that the world
multi-universe.
title and the U.S. title run he had never existed.
Yeah, we forget all about that stuff.
All right, if you
All of
say
it
so.
together. None of it happened. So yes, I think Bret Hart was honored, and it was interesting. I guess he didn't get all the time on his speech. I guess they played the music on him or something, but he had to finish his speech. I think he went to Instagram and went about that. And he mentioned Kenny Omega and Kevin Owens for kind of being that next generation and keeping Canadian pro wrestling, or the tradition and the everything that goes with being a Canadian in the professional wrestling business. He kind of, I don't want to say singled those guys out in particular because he did mention some other names. I think he was mentioning the past, present, and future more or less. So I think he mentioned like he had Jericho and some others mentioned as some of the guys that kind of came in after him. I think he mentioned Owen Hart in that post for continuing to have his career up until we know what happened with that. With that being said, I believe there were some more details that came out from AEW about the Owen Hart tournament. I believe it's a women's tournament and a men's tournament. I think we've talked about that part. I think we've also mentioned this before too, but I heard it again this week and I just found it so interesting that they said that Martha Hart, I believe, was going to be there I think she was either going to be on AEW this week or when that tournament started or was going to take place. She was going to be there. And obviously there's a partnership between Owen Hart, the Owen Hart Foundation, and AEW. Owen Hart obviously tragically passed away while being a member of the WWE roster back in the early 2000s, I believe, as the Blue Blazer was his current gimmick. Late 90s, yeah. And unfortunately, yeah, he did pass away. So was never in AEW. Obviously, AEW is like fairly couple years old now, and 2 or 3 years old, fairly new. But yeah, we just thought we would never see Martha Hart. I mean, let alone she was barely ever in a wrestling ring on TV, but obviously with Canadian Stampede and stuff, the family was there for that. But yeah, just see Martha Hart and the name Owen Hart mentioned with pro wrestling, regardless of where it is at this point, is just very interesting. It's something you think, at least I thought, would never happen, especially when it was just a year or two ago. They had the Dark Side of the Ring episode on that, and I thought that was about the end of the whole Owen Hart pro wrestling thing, and as good as it was going to get in terms of there being any sort of, I mean, maybe not as good as it was going to get, but any sort of detailing from Martha Hart on the subject. So just kind of interesting to even see her being involved in it again in some regard. Obviously, it's for the foundation and for a good cause. So yeah, it should be interesting, and I may want to check that out. I was going to say I would think Bret Hart's going to be involved in that, but I don't know if Bret and Martha were necessarily are on good terms. Maybe, I'm not sure, but
I don't know.
We'll see.
I think
Another
she's
thing,
outed from the family.
I think so, yeah, or maybe however that worked out, yeah. But when that was mentioned, there was someone who's with Brian Pillman. They're in this Brian Pillman Jr. is in this tag team with some other gentleman. I'm blanking on the name at the moment, but
Garrison.
And then they have this young lady with them who has the last name Hart. She's a cheerleader. She has some cheerleading gimmick, 2-time champion or something. Julia Hart. No relation to Owen, right? Because she kind of mentioned something about this Owen Hart tournament or something. And yeah, the Varsity Blondes, I believe it is. But I was just curious to see if there was some relation. I tried looking it up, but I didn't really see anything. But I thought maybe I was missing something, or was this a playoff of this? Maybe just coincidence because Pillman, Hart, I don't know. I just thought I might have been missing something.
Maybe. I don't know. She has no relation as far as I know.
No, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. Sounds good. I was just making sure I wasn't missing nothing because there's so many Hart members and so many children and grandchildren. It's hard to keep up with all of them. All right.
A bunch of cats.
I haven't found.
Cats too.
There was a bunch of what?
A bunch of cats.
Are you being funny?
I'm serious.
For what it was worth, there was a bulldog.
There was a bulldog in there.
Poor Harry. I don't know how he got released after like 2 months. Anyway,
he never wrestled.
He had a good promo. Well, I mean, the promo wasn't even on TV. It was just kind of it was like a Twitter segment. But anyways. I don't know how much time we have left, but Ethan, I know we were going to kind of talk about our end of the year review, our predictions for the beginning of the year. No big deal.
Next week, we'll do the predictions for next year.
Look, here's what I'm thinking for my own credibility here, because I do pretty good with these pay-per-view predictions. I say we just skip this year's how things played out, because half the dang people that I vote that said we're gonna do anything are on another show. They're on another show. I had Adam Cole. I had Adam Cole winning the Intercontinental title, and he never even made it on the main roster.
If he would have stayed, he would have been an Intercontinental champion.
But so I'm just saying, I think now that we have a better understanding of where the dust is kind of settled on the 2 shows now, and another show's been added and different things. Like maybe we can just do the predictions all over again.
I'm gonna go back and watch last year's predictions, and the next week we'll give our predictions for next year. And then we'll maybe do like a little best of hey, what was your favorite moments of this year? So maybe go look up, just look up other people's maybe best of and think, oh, maybe I like this one.
I mean, I already know my best of was Brock's flip phone promo segment. I mean, that was the highlight of my. Oh,
I'll tell
actually,
you mine.
no.
I'll tell you mine right now.
You could tell me one right now. Yeah.
Seth Rollins and Bailey. Ding dong, hello. Just
When was
chemistry.
this?
That was this year. I know it felt like so long, but
That was a segment, right?
It was a ding dong hello.
Like a
It was our
promo?
talk show. Yeah, it was Bailey's talk show with Seth Rollins, and they killed it.
I slightly remember this.
It was great. I'll send you the GIF right now.
Okay. I do remember seeing Bailey tweet this week that I think she misses pro wrestling or wants to get back.
Mhm.
Like I think she's getting closer, maybe.
Mhm.
I don't know, but she's missing it. She wants to get back in it. I think there was some photo of her like walking in an alley or something, kind of portraying that she was maybe lonely or she's working her way back or something.
Mhm.
I mean, she was already healed, so I don't know, but maybe there's something to it.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes. I mean, but that's something to look forward to. Bianca Belair and Doudrop had a match, and
Bianca lifted her up with a KOD.
my dad told me that, and I told him you shouldn't be surprised because Bianca's the baddest, the smartest, the fastest, and everything else. So
I love Becky Lynch, but she's pretty good.
I mean, Becky's a cheater, but all right.
Sir. All right. I sent the GIF, the GIF,
okay,
whatever.
Let me check out the GIF. But one thing my dad would like to see happen in the next 12 months here is to see Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. That's still a match he wants to see.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't be opposed to that either. I think that would be interesting.
I told him I would want to see it too. The only thing about it is you got these two big guys moving around. Who's doing the bumping? Who's doing the high flying? Who's selling? I'm just thinking it's gonna be a technical match. Like
it'll be a 5-star classic.
You think so?
No, but
I was gonna say yeah.
It could be good.
I don't see this. Where did you send? Oh, in the chat.
Chat.
Okay. Double. Okay. At least he was dressed better in this gift than he was in that plaid.
Oh,
that plaid wasn't it.
Do you see them both laughing?
I did.
Yes.
They both are great. I mean, it was good times when you had both of them in the ring. But
I can't wait for Baylor to come back. That's going to be probably one of the highlights of 2022.
It probably would be the biggest return of 2022, I would think, right? I mean,
probably.
Maybe we get some crazy surprise. I don't know. I mean,
maybe
other than The Rock, I think.
Maybe Adam Cole comes back. He decides, I'm not having fun over here. Maybe, maybe not. And then he jumps back ship. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I would say maybe there's a chance. No, not even because he was with his friends. But now that his other buddies are there, I mean, like every friend he's probably ever made in the pro wrestling business are there.
The good ones are there. He might stick around.
I mean, it's not happening.
All right. So next week we'll do our predictions for 2022. We'll look back on 2021, and then we'll acknowledge Roman Reigns once again.
He will acknowledge Roman Reigns. I'll talk about Braun Breaker, Bianca Belair, and everyone else doing good stuff. We could talk about Bret Hart. We could do a best of with Bret Hart.
Anyways, happy Festivus, everyone. Big E, big fan of Festivus, so we're going to celebrate tomorrow. But until next time, this has been episode 174 of Beyond the Ropes, and it's been absolutely too sweet.